Well, they even another of Xiao Yu's best series is the Pango. We saw after the first series, teams were starting to respect Xiao Yu's Pango lead just because of how much he dominated. And I was just going to mention that, like, surprise RSG just completely avoided it, and TNC even want to cover their tracks just to make sure the Sand King can't be flexed.
Yeah, Pango has always been such a good hero right now. It gives you Eric, gives you catch, gives you team fight. Who knew that we haven't been seeing for much?
Oh, what?
Ooh.
Yo, so this is wild. All right, you got percent damage versus the Tiny, which is always a huge factor, but there's the instant answer to be able to deal with the Supernova. So Lena, of course, always one of the best thanks to her passive.
Yeah, without hesitation too, TNC didn't even put much time to think about this. Like, it is such a good Lena game because, first of all, you are playing against Ember Spirit. We should know that you are going to have a very good lane. And second of all, 8-hitter. Third of all, Nuke is so good against DP. So it's looking like a perfect Lena game here. And so far, the only catch for Lena is Sand King. It's not going to be easy because he's always going to be saved by the Pokna. He's always going to be saved by the Hoodwink. So I do feel like this is a very smart Lena pick. But I do want to talk a little bit about the Phoenix though, because I believe at the beginning of this patch, we have been seeing some experiment with the Phoenix, especially against Tiny, because Sunray is so good, presenting damage, obviously very good against very tanky heroes like a Tiny. So I'm very intrigued to seeing how this is going to work.
10 seconds remaining.
For me, I'm now looking to see what the carry hero is going to be for MKS. I think the Faceless Void has to be the standout hero because of the Phoenix, the Death Prophet, and a carry that can get on the Lena. But we've also seen the likes of Ursa, which MKS thrives on. I think he's 3 for 3 so far through Division 2. And the only reason why I really bring that up is just because a lot of people, when they pick the Tiny, they always consider an Ursa ban. So that could always be a potential.
I can see the life stealer as well. It's pretty solid here. Like you say, one of the other counters for Tiny besides Ursa too, and it kind of synergizes with their heroes right now because they're looking to be very tanky, with the Sand King, with the DP. So I believe they still need one more frontliner kind of carry here, something like a Wraith King, something like a life stealer would look really synergetic with their heroes right now.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm also too big fan of the Lifestealer because I think you can then infest in the Ember or the Sand King and just look to jump the Lena and blow her up, or jump the Pugner and blow him up. So, and I have to imagine they get rid of it. It's like a concern though. Do you get rid of the Lifestealer, which has really good matchups overall, or do you get rid of the Void that has very good synergy with RSG just with their team fight?
Yeah, that is true. Faceless Void has to be something you consider as well, simply because of this Phoenix. And there's no save coming out from TNC Predator. The only save is the Death Rip from Pokna, but the Sun Ray burns through it. So it's something that they have to consider right now. Besides that, I can also see Terror Blade working well for RSG, or even a Medusa could come into play. These Guardi carries are really good against Tiny and Pokna. And there's just so many heroes that they need to consider right now. From TNC. But the good thing is they do have the last pick. So no matter what carry RSG is picking here, TNC will always be able to respond with something better. So for now, it's very important for RSG to realize the hero that is uncounterable, something like a Medusa or Kibi maybe, thanks to this Brewmaster ban. I think it's hinting a little bit about that.
What do you feel like is the flaws of TNC, and how do they cover those tracks with this Bok position 3 last pick?
Oh, I feel like they need a little bit more right now because the only quote-unquote setup is the Tiny Avalanche. Otherwise, the other spells are a little bit hard to hit. And most importantly, you don't want to be the one standing in front of the team fight to start all this initiation off. So you need someone to jump in first. And I think that's going to be something that Bok is looking at right now, because you need a second wave of initiation so that you can enable Lena, you can enable the Tiny to come in and do damage, because you don't want them to be in the front line because they're so vulnerable to the Sand King.
Nice call on the Medusa ban. So we do have still... I felt like RSG really had a lot of carries that could be picked up and we'd be pretty happy with it. They do end up going down the Faceless Void route, so... Beastmaster's banned. You want low cooldown and push early on, which TNC already had with Pugna. I really could see TNC running over this game. I'm trying to find a hero that can find a real quick timing with the
10
tiny like
seconds remaining.
Shadowblade Shard.
Yeah, I would say something like a Centaur could look
seconds
good here.
remaining.
I feel like Stampede allows you to at least disengage from maybe this Phoenix, Phoenix Egg or DP's Exor. If you don't get caught by the Borrow Strike and the Chrono, it could be good. Oh, they're gonna go for the
Choose
big
your
play
hero.
here. So nothing utility. They're going to go for another core heroes for Borg.
Do you like this? I don't particularly like this.
They're like so greedy though.
Yeah.
Doom, Lina, Tiny,
Yeah.
all of them want to farm, all of them want to do stuff for themselves, and they need someone to enable them. So I feel like a lot of responsibility is falling on Carlos' shoulder. Hu Wing needs to kind of set everything up for the team. And it's hard for Hu Wing to do that.
I've been wrong very often, mainly when I'm casting with Denog. So now that I'm not, I feel like it's just guaranteed for me to be. I'll fill the Oracle's shoes. I really don't like this Doom pick. I feel like RSG have overwhelming amounts of team fight.
10 seconds
Always the
remaining.
concern with the Faceless Void is how long it takes for him to come online, and he can get really, really run over because his cooldown dependency. That's where Beastmaster's always kind of the number one counter. That's why I was mentioning, like, you go for a hero that pushes the tempo. You've got Lina, Tiny, their BKB timing's going to be exceptionally strong because RSG are pretty spell reliant. So you go for this BKB timing, you have a position 3 that can help you kind of initiate and take towers a little bit. But they go Doom. They're trying to play this late game route, which I don't know if it'll work.
I mean, they're definitely banking on the late game right now because Dota is like a problem-solving game, right? RSG, they're showing you so many problems right now, and with this last pick, it doesn't seem like TNC is addressing them in an obvious manner. It feels like they are going to take this manner by out-fighting RSG in a team fight. They have to get the best Doom off though on the best target. And speaking about best target, who is the best target here for RSG?
I don't
It feels
know.
like everyone does so much in a team fight.
Okay, so how they win is Doom gets Refresher and Refresher Shard from Roche, and then that one fight where you get 3 Dooms out, you turn the game around, all of a sudden you end with Tiny Rapier. We've seen what a Tiny can do to shred down buildings. It still doesn't have to be mentioned. Like, I'm giving the edge to RSG overall this game, but also late game, I think they're still going to be fine even into the Doom. But this is a hero that can just change the way late game Dota plays. That ultimate is exceptional, especially if you get a second one out. But
For battle.
like you said, there's 5 really good Doom targets.
And sometimes when everyone is a good team target, it makes the game so hard, right?
True.
Because who do you go on to? And whoever that you go on to, there is gonna be a backup for it. Look at the team fight intensity coming from RSG here. This is the best kind of lineup for you to play when everyone is in the boot camp. Oh, Fabi?
Febby. That's not a boundary you want to cross, my guy. First blood given over to Excellent. Out of all the
man.
5 heroes you could have given first blood to, Arthur, I tell you what, Excellent is someone who's going to make perfect use of that advantage.
100%, man. 200 gold from border right now. Excellence. I'm gonna say thank you very much. I can guarantee you, everyone in the bootcamp is laughing right now.
30
They must be so
seconds to
happy, and I like the intensity that they are bringing in. You know, smoking towards the mid lane, making sure that if anyone's trying to do something like that, they are there to punish it. And there's the tip coming from Xiaoyu.
This is ex-teammate as well, keep in mind.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, Xiaoyu, off to a banger. We'll see if that continues. But you were mentioning that the Lina vs Ember matchup should be Lina favored.
The
So
battle
again, the fact that you
begins.
get plus 277 gold for Excellent along with 2 bounties. What's it give him now? 555 gold? Almost bottle. That's huge in a matchup like this.
Absolutely. And you know what? They're not looking at this game. He's gonna be furious because we are not seeing TNC blocking the small camp of Ember Spirit. You know, when you are in a bad matchup like that, you always want to make sure that the enemy has no easy way to come back or recover from this bad lane matchup. So TNC already missing up some opportunity here, but we'll see. Because this lane is super Lina favorite, and Yowie himself, he's a big Lina spammer himself. So I'm sure that he's looking to push the edge of this lane.
And are you a fan of Lina at this stage of Dota?
You've been
You know, with the
burned.
recent changes that we saw?
No, honestly,
Ooh.
I need to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Lina. I feel like this patch, you want to be aggressive, and it feels like if you're playing carry-ish kind of mid laner, most of the time you tend to get out-tempoed. Because
Okay.
everyone else is playing so aggressively, especially around the mid lane. And if you look at RSG, they've got DP, they've got the Phoenix. All of these heroes are happy to rotate to the mid lane to play around the Ember. So I feel like if they are able to do that, they might be able to change the status quo of this mid lane.
Yeah, we saw recently Team Spirit they've always been putting out these tier lists of 7.31, and Toronto Tokyo was saying he really rates the Lina, and also
True.
there's Dota 2 Champions League going on at the moment. Well, season 7, actually 8 I think just finished, and there was a lot of Lina picks, more than I was expecting, and that has been the one region that really thrives on the Lina. So the fact that they're still favoring it makes me believe that it's still a hero with some value.
Yeah, I mean for sure. I just feel like this hero is not as strong as before.
Yep.
And for this patch, it feels like there are some other heroes that are they fuse the role a little bit better than Lina. But in this game in particular though, it's still definitely a very sick Lina game. You count a lot of heroes coming out from RSG, so I can still see the work. In this case, I do believe that this is a very good Lina game though. Even though the hero might not be, it's debatable for sure. But in this game, it's clear that she is the best hero here.
And how did TNC get the most out of Lina in a game like this?
Most of the time, you just want to keep the game quiet, to be honest. Allow Lina to play towards a BKB and boost of travel timing, whatever timing that Lina needs to be activated in the game. And second of all, I think it's about creating kills for Lina to kind of come in and finish off, which is something that is a little bit lacking here. I wouldn't say a little bit, I think it's heavily lacking here from TNC. So it's an aspect that they need to be talking very carefully about, I feel.
Radiant's courier
It's like
has
all our
been
side lanes pretty passive at the moment. Both sides getting as much farm as they would be hoping. Actually, when I say that, Xiaoyu's 15 last hits compared to the 8 on the Tiny. And for me, I'm a bit concerned because I think the Sand Kings are very weak laning hero early on. And the fact that Xiaoyu has been able to get to level 3 uncontested, I'm a bit worried by.
Yeah, that's the only downside of Pokna really, because this hero just doesn't contribute so much in a safe lane like that. So there's a lot about just trade farming, which is something that they are looking for right now. But if you look at trade farm, Young God CS is not really looking too good, I would say, compared to Xiaoyu's. But a lot of the extra creeps are coming from this neutral creeps though for Xiaoyu. But then again, it comes back to the point, right? Sand King not that amazing in lane. If he ever gets unpunished, he's gonna get so much more done.
And I guess we can say the same thing about TNC and their offlane. Box having a pretty good time, 18-2. I don't personally rate the Doom as highly in the laning phase, even though he did get those armor changes. I think he can still be heavily penalized at this stage of the game.
Radiant's
This
courier
bottom
has
lane
been
is
killed.
is definitely looking pretty okay here for TNC. I think Footwing is one of the best heroes right now on the position 4 to really secure a passive hero like like a Doom. Because it's just so hard to go up against the Doom that is always on full HP, and you always need to be careful about the bushwhack coming from Hoodwink. If you are playing the trading game, it's almost always very hard to win against the Hoodwink.
CMKS was left alone for a little bit. Roger tried to help secure the runes, and we even saw the rotation from, I believe it was Zhao Bonbon as well to get the top rune. So putting a lot of emphasis on enabling Exilern, and he's been a big reason of why they've been able to take their previous matches and series. As bottom, Roger in some trouble. MKS gonna fly over the tree line, and now with the slow coming out from the time dilation, Buck is in a lot of trouble. Dilation about to expire, so we'll see the movement speed start to pay off. But the fact that Roger can just stand his ground and almost get the kill, my oh my, but look at Carlo. He's having a free time just right-clicking down the Death Prophet. One more spell usage with the right click will get their first kill for TNC.
Oh, that was a very good maneuver coming from Hoodwink. He was staying all the time to hit DP, making sure that she is always in the threshold of dying. And Hoodwink with the early Blackstone is paying off already. Carlo just single-handedly sustaining this lane, making sure that Doom is able to just stay here and farm. And MKS was a little unlucky with the bash. Didn't really get the ones that he needed to get the kill on Doom. And Carlos just gonna casually suicide to the tower, come back with full HP, full mana, and even being the delivery boy as well.
Is this what Febby does to his supports? Just he he persuades everyone just to deny themselves?
I mean, it's a lot of efficiency, but the only thing that is a little bit tricky when it comes to this is that you need to control your TP very carefully. Because you're TPing to the mid lane right now, it means that for the next minute, there will be no TP coming out from Carlo anymore.
What's going by the jungle? Febby gonna run into Sillern. He's got an arcane available. Looks for the Courier instead and just trying to maybe protect Xiaoyu, seeing as Sillern doesn't really have anything that he needs to do mid lane.
And that's another tip from Xiaoyu. I believe that was a stack made by Febby.
Yep.
And Xiaoyu is just saying, thank you very much, I'm gonna take it for free.
See-
and now that he has Hood, how do you kill him, man? It's basically unkillable.
But see, the question has to be said, has he used his tips too early on, Arthur? These are 2 tips already and you only get 3.
That is true. That is a very important state because you normally want to put it in the mid game when things are a little bit even to throw an enemy off. And I'm sure that if Febby finds the chance, he's gonna tip back.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I don't think he'll forget these tips. You know, of course we don't
Nope.
know kind of the ins and out prior. All right, we've got to look at bot real quick. Bot is 1 creep away from 6. Okay, 1 creep now away from 6. And MKS is in a critical threshold where they got the Doom, and let's see if he can use it from the tree line. Well, Carlo's going to be able to find the setup and the stun. Sillern tries the TP down. Oh, excellent. All right. Does he go for this now? You just got the deny. You're feeling yourself. Maxed out Slight. You got the arcane to play with.
Man, this is such a player, man. I mean, this is why we are, Excellent has been getting hyped up for so many months right now. And I'm just glad that he's finally getting his chance to shine. And you know what? By doing all that, he didn't even miss much efficiency because he had a remnant in the mid lane. And he just casually go back to the mid lane, not missing any CS here. And still got the deny. That was such a big play.
They're eyeing up your way. Chrono's available. Carlo's thinking about stepping in as well. What a perfect placement of the Chrono, making sure the Hoodwink's unable to step in to try and protect the Lina. So able to avenge his life with the Lugana Blade before he drops. But that is, you're happy with that. Use Chrono as early as you can to get it on cooldown, and you get a kill onto the Lina.
Yeah, and this is the perfect communication coming in from your post 1 and 2, right? Always looking out for each other, and you love to see that.
What?
And MKS. Right, another thing that I want to point out is that Phoenix into Pokemon is a little bit tricky because normally you would like to save your Supernova to the very end before you're about to die so that you can soak out as much damage as possible. But when you're playing against the Nether Ward, you kind of can't do that because if you press Supernova, you are just going to die before you can cast it off. So that could be a little bit tricky here, and I believe Bombi, as a Phoenix spammer, he definitely knows about this. Okay. So I believe we are going to see a lot of early Supernova right now.
Bottom lane, Box in trouble, excellent. Another beautiful rotation from the Ember, and all of this continuing to be set up thanks to how they are controlling the runes. We just saw the Arcane prior, now we've got the haste on him, and look at this. Aggressive, they're hunting.
And Xiaoyu is like, I'm just gonna come in casually, steal another stacks again.
Febby looks to step in as well. They take rid of the ward on the higher ground, but they won't have the opportunity to do so, so now they turn their attention to Xiaoyu. With a 1-2 punch and Young God's combo, that's enough to get rid of the top of the net worth hero in Xiaoyu.
Yo, that's a pretty big actually. We talk about how with this Hood he might be unkillable, but when the Tiny and Lina comes together to to drop their spells on you, it's a little bit hard for you to survive that, and most importantly, like you love to see this post one.
Bottom lane, MKS, the Doom once again. We saw Excellent be the X factor to try and deny the Faceless Void last time, but it looks like TNC will make sure they are unable to replicate that plays throughout the river though. Sillern once again is able to find the power rune, but a regen unable to make too many crazy plays out of this.
And the bottom lane was all set up by this Observer Ward coming out from Carlo that he put down 5 minutes ago. Which is why we always say that if Vision wins your game, and this is the kind of Observer Ward that is able to enable your team to go for these kills that you normally wouldn't be able to get. So Vision game, very important in this game, especially for both teams that are highly relying on information to make initiation. So I think it's going to be the game of this, it's going to be the word of this game.
Young God? It's gonna be in trouble top lane. Xiaoyu charging up the first epicenter. And of course they've got the percent damage coming out from the Spirit Siphon as well, so Younggon's gonna have to rely on the toss away with Burrow up in a couple of seconds. Oh no, they just missed the bushwhack. Roger needs to tank the tower. Can he get the aggro away? He cannot, but alright. He wants to just pump the ultimate and bring down Carlo, but a recognition of the TP out gets him to safeties. Meanwhile, mid, Febby.
Dire's middle tower
Nice
is under
decrypt.
attack.
Slide will be up in a couple seconds. Bonbon's even going to fly on over and force to drop the supernova because of this issue in the nether ward.
Bottom side, Ares?
Oh, Chrono MKS, look at that! Oh, the premature tip as well from the Void, recognizing he had all the damage he would require to kill Bok.
Radiant's middle
That was
tower
a
is
solo
under
kill, by the way,
attack.
and simultaneously at the top lane, Roger was able to bring down his top tower alone by himself. And he's gonna be having an entire lane to himself too. So all these things are going so well for RSG so far. Every single lane is getting activated. And for MKS, you know, he's ready for the tip. That's for the revenge from the previous 2 kills.
Dude, Arthur, this is so crazy to me that this was a open qualifier team
Man.
and they're making plays like that. That's exceptional, where you're able to kill off the Tiny, and I'll hold that thought, bottom lane, Jiayu, a blink at 12 minutes in to combine the hood, so Young God will be burnt to a crisp as a position 1 on TNC can get nothing out of the map.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah, you speak about them coming in from open qualifiers, man. So far, they are really showing so much confidence. I would say even more confident than I would say 6 out of 8 teams coming in Division 2. This is a team that is truly believing in themselves, in their ability to make waves in this tour. And I'm glad that they are able to showcase what they are able to do. And I feel like it's the same for TNC as well, right? If you look at the names of their players, they have achieved success before. So it's all about coming together to get themselves to that form. And I feel like RSG, they are arriving there right now.
They're just doing everything perfectly. Roger, standing behind the Faceless Void. They know that the Doom's available. They know they need to use these ultimates to try and slow down the Void's farm, but Roger being in that position just made sure there was no opportunity, and now they're on the prowl.
Do they have damage though if they go for this? That's my biggest concern. They're gonna think about it.
How do you chumps? They only have Febby nearby, which the Hoodwink really can't do much to prevent the damage that's coming in thick and fast. Pogo forward unrequired as Roger claims the kill.
under attack.
It almost felt like Bob knew something is gonna
Radiant's
happen to
bottom
him.
tower
Because
is
he was
under attack.
thinking whether he wants to step down for the
Dire
creep wave, and the moment he did, he got punished by it.
Radiant
So
structures
sometimes I
are
guess, you know, as Dota players, we have this instinct, and sometimes we just have to trust it.
Not
Hello?
again, man. They are everywhere. They'll protect the Observer Ward along with getting the T1 tower to their name as RSG continuing to find everything they would desire out of this
Dire
map.
structures are fortified.
This is the overwhelming power that you talk about, man. In team fights, in tower pushing,
Can they
could always
defend
just do
this?
this. Do they want to?
Radiant's bottom tower is
They have
under
the blink?
attack.
No,
Dire's
still no
middle
blink on
tower
Young
has
God.
fallen.
No, that's the thing, Ares. You know, we look at these 3 cores coming up from TNC. All of them want to do stuff for themselves. They need someone else to enable them. But they don't have that one hero like Sand King that can always jump in so that the other cores can follow up to them. They don't have that right now. So Doom is going for BKB, so we are not seeing the blink initiation for quite a while. And Tiny is not going for blink either, or maybe he is. He's actually queuing it up, so he needs to play like a kind of like a position 2 here, because you know, like we say, Lena, she is always the position 1. So the responsibility kind of falls under Young God, which definitely is something that he's not very comfortable with or familiar
Dire's
with, I would
top
say.
tower is under attack.
Now, I still feel like there's a very big timing for TNC once they get triple BKB. You know, we have Lena with her BKB already. Doom is working towards his, but Tiny's going to come a bit later because of, like you said, he needs to fulfill a different role this game to what he usually would. But if TNC can split the map up, you know, stop kind of bleeding kills and you're continuing to find their farm, then that's really what I'm looking for next out of them.
Yeah, that's for sure definitely a very big timing. You know, it's all about whether or not you can hit those timing without losing the map too much. Because look at Xiao Yu right now. He's going again. This guy. He's not stopping.
Got everyone here and their ultimates as well. We're still yet to see the Chrono combined with the Supernova, which is such a scary teamfight combo. Dude, they might just have the damage just with Chrono itself and Sunray maxed out. Well, who cancelled TP? Hugner, I think. Pugna or Lena?
Probably Pugna. He doesn't have a TP right now on him. Alright, the one thing is, RSG without the Exorcism, they are pretty slow in sieging the tier 2. So that could be something TNC can abuse. Oh, Xiaoyu, he's fishing in the mid lane.
He's gonna run into TNC as well. Smoke pops. We've got the ward that's seeing MKS at the moment, but once again, a bushwhack just short. And all of a sudden, you're continuing to see the issues of how they can start fights without the blink.
RSG, they are reading this move though. They know that no one is showing at TNC side. And they know that this is probably where TNC is gonna look to maybe punish the aggression of RSG. So they were pretty sure. Xiaoyu sitting at the mid lane didn't go for it because he knows that Tiny is in a position that his teammates are most probably going to be behind him, covering him. So he didn't take the lead of faith there, which is very patient. And for now, I guess TNC, the one thing is, we talk about the triple BKB timing, they can always skew towards that. So they are not feeling too bad for slowing down the game as well. So yeah. I think this is a status quo that both teams are probably pretty happy about.
Yeah, it's always the question. Like, you've got a lot of big ultimates at the ready for RSG. It feels like you kind of want to force a fight, but then if you force a fight and if you don't convert with these ultimates, then all of a sudden maybe the enemy team can get an objective off the back of that.
Exactly.
Epicenter top lane, Xiaoyu's going for it. The lane ward, but they're unable to run into Buck, but a pogo over the tree line means that Xiaoyu can get the TP out. They just find the stun connection, and this is a huge kill. They even have to fuse the Doom for it a little bit. It's not as worth for Buck, unfortunately. They probably would have got the kill without it, but nonetheless, you take away Xiaoyu's life.
Oh, look at them. They're going. They know that there's no Doom. This is such a big information for RSG to abuse right now.
Alright, Silen. Got one Remnant. An early use of the Sun Ray. Not been able to follow this up with the Chrono. MKS is going to go for it. Guess who it's on? To the Lena. Supernova drop to the northern side. So Yahweh is going to try and pop the BK and bring down the egg. And he's able to do so. That was the blink reveal from Young God as well. So straight to the backline. Finds Exilin. A huge fight for TNC, even though they're up against the ultimates. Continuing to hunt. Blink still being cancelled. Box going to provide the vision on Roger, but Young God not going to find an angle. So, wow, that was on Febby too. The Sun Ray just expiring. Febby was able to keep Yolway alive with the decrep, and they just stand their ground and rip through the egg.
And this is exactly what you said, right? If you're unable to convert, all of a sudden TNC, they might fight you back because they are the one lacking of initiation. But when you're running into them, they will be more than happy to take the fight, and they managed to do so. Oh, Bombi, gotta be careful here.
Alright,
so just gonna get out. Oh man, Xiaoyu, he was getting a little bit impatient there. It's all about this patient, pull and push game. It's all about who breaks first. And at that point, it seems like RSG, they got a little bit impatient there.
Yeah, they broke first. They're also trying to make a play to rectify this, but they smoked onto the ward, so TNC, all the information they would desire to be able to evade the bottom attempt, and this is continuing to give them time. Yolway, 1800 gold after the boots of travel. Tiny's a lot of gold picked up after the blink as well. He's already got 1200. Also keep an eyes on Bok, which is closing onto the blink. So this is really important for TNC.
Absolutely, they just have to try to stabilize the game like this for maybe a couple of minutes right now, while they're approaching to their very key items so far. So this is where we're gonna see the discipline coming out from a good team. When you know that you're approaching good timings, you want to slow down the game. You don't want to be taking random fights, and you don't want to be inviting them. So you can see that TNC right now, they're splitting all 3 maps. And for RSG, they kind of have to force something to happen, because once these BKB are up, the only damage that can go through BKBs are just the Exorcism and also Chrono and the DPS damage. And so far, if you look at DPS, Faceless White really doesn't offer too much of that.
So I
I
think it was a Pro Series game that I was casting where Zephyr played the Phoenix and he went for the exact build that Xiao Bonbon has at the moment. Kaya into Agshard super early. And he was like top 3 damage dealt. Zephyr just almost single-handedly carried that game, and I'm very concerned. If he gets his abilities off in the fights, it's going to be a lot of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. The only answer here for the Phoenix is little top lane, Roger.
Pearl, Death Prophet, quick and easy kill from them. Well, it's a smoke for a support, so the worst thing.
Are scanning.
Yeah, I do feel like with this build, Bombay is making himself a priority to TNC, which is really good because right now he's making himself to he's making TNC choose to doom him or his course. Because if you're not dooming the Phoenix, he's gonna be, like you say, outputting so much damage. So very smart build coming out from Xiaobonbon. The concept behind this is something that is really smart. And you know, it comes from a special Phoenix players to really understand when is the best time to pull out a build like that.
Smack up though from RSG. Try and path their way towards Radiant Triangle. So to Dyer's Triangle at TNC, they do have the Observer Ward placed already, multiple heroes set up. This ward will scout out the regen claim shortly, so they're going to know someone's nearby. Instantly you see them turn away, get out of the area as fast as possible. Well, Bok, they want to take the fight. Just charging up the higher ground, but he's got BKB. You don't want to use everything onto the Doom. That's not an easy kill at all. Gonna try and hold him back and towards the side. Young God jumps in, follow up with the Doom as well. Bok just onto the Faceless Void, but they have no follow-up damage until Febby. He's able to find the live train from and far and instantly RSG. Tucking their tails in between their legs, or Xiaoyu! No! A burrow off the mark. You always had an opportunity to charge up the BKB, and now they really want to take the fight. Into Radiant's territory they go. There's another core cut down by the burst. Excellent. Can he turn this one around? They know they used a lot. A BKB only committing onto Febby. He's still got one more remnant to be able to utilize here. Up to the higher ground is considering, but Carlo is already in prime position to be able to set up. And with the LSA follow-up, Your Way doesn't even need it. The right clicks for good measure as TNC find another successful fight.
Oh, that was such a patient fight coming from TNC. They managed to find the best Doom target, which is the Faceless Void. So they run him down, and it seems that RSG, they had the idea to turn it around because they know that Doom is down. They tried to, but then TNC, they were just outnumbering RSG, and they played the fight fantastically. RSG, everything starts from the top side, right? They wanted to punish Bulk, they didn't manage to do so. They got punished, and right now it feels like they are really feeling the sense of urgency to make something happen, but they don't have the follow-up damage for their setup. You know, you get the Boar Strike, you get the Doom, you get the Chronosphere off, and what's next? You don't have a clear damage like a Lina can provide. So this team fight is a lot more unclear for them at this moment. And they are just gonna make use of the downtime of these big ultimates and go for a Roche.
Can they do this though?
With Exo, they could. Without Exo, oh, it's looking very risky.
Zilan putting his body on the line, making space. Xiaoyu's got the follow-up. BKB still an opportunity, gets it off before the Chrono, so the Sunray has a non-factor with bringing down Young God. And once again, it's a disastrous fight for RSG. As Zilan, everything is on his back to turn this team fight around, but with no remnants to retreat away, they should be able to catch out the Ember in the day as the Doom flies over the cliff, gets the stun, a 4-for-1, but into Roche Your Way goes.
Oh, this is gonna be a Furoshan, man. It's already at 50% HP. And you know what happened there? You're wondering why there is no Supernova. That's because he was killed by the Nether Ward. And that's the thing we talk about Phoenix against Pogna, right? You can't afford to wait to the last moment, or when you're with a sliver of HP and you pop that off. That's not gonna happen.
We're just what we're seeing as well is just some really small individual mistakes that we don't honestly get a lot from RSG. The Burrow Strike down by the river for Xiaoyu when he tried to initiate, and just then it was a little bit of a brain fart almost from MKS. He was really hesitant with his Chrono, not wanting to waste it on Young God when they had the Sunray, but that hesitancy allowed him to get the BKB off, so Sunray was nothing in Chrono, and then Doom was able to follow up and take the Phoenix out of the fight. And they will get something out of the map. Looks like Carlo should end up dropping unless the sharpshooter shenanigans along with the bushwhack gets him
Radiant's
out.
top tower has
But
fallen.
of course, they have the time dilation. Carlo will be penalized.
Fear not your death.
Radiant's top
All right.
tower
I mean,
is
that's
under
quite
attack.
an whatever kill, I
Radiant
guess, because for
structures
now
are
TNC they are
fortified.
happy
Dire
controlling this
are
triangle.
scanning.
They wouldn't want to let it go, and it seems like they are fishing for it. Roger might be the target. Because now that you have this double blink on Tiny and also Doom, you are able to punish the ones that get out of position like this one. It's a freebie.
Dire's middle tower
You don't
is
have
under
much of an
attack.
opportunity to pop BKB with how much damage Young God is
Radiant's
dishing
top
out in that
tower is
combo.
under attack.
You haven't talked too much about Your Way, but he went for Satanic after the BKB, so just looking for the max survivability, which is smart, right? Because if you look at RSG, all they want to do is to
Dire's
press their
bottom
spells
tower
on
is
you
under
and
attack.
burst you down instantly. If they couldn't do it,
Radiant's top tower
and if you're
has
able to stay alive, you're gonna turn the fight around. Oh, siapa
Tried to go for the okay, they're not gonna run into him. Meanwhile, bottom lane, MKS. Forward, Carlo needs to continue to stalk.
Radiant's
MKS
middle
is
tower
farming
is
instead
under
of looking to
attack.
evacuate.
Dire's bottom
Young God
tower
blink up
is
in a
under
couple
attack.
seconds. The chain control, he just gets the avalanche. But a little bit too late as a forced chrono into the escape TP out.
Never refuse.
They pulled them across the map, so Yolway and Febby actually have a little bit cautious now. They're instantly beelining to the area, but they are very far away. So maybe Silo might be able to get the Pugna with the follow-up from Xiao Yu. But Yolway just rips apart Roger, so not even a 1-for-1. As Yolway now with the BKB pop, but the rest of the reinforcements have arrived. And RSG, they cannot stick around to try and claim the Ages.
TNC, they're maneuvering this game very well so far. They're always making sure that at least one support is staying with Yoe when he's taking over the enemy jungle. And now that they're just gonna chill, look at Tiny, he's not even whacking the tower. He knows that as long as
They see Excellent onto the high ground. Great placement of the Observer Ward. And meanwhile, Xiao Yu, he wanted to start the fight, but it was TNC utilizing the vision to perfection.
Alright, we're seeing a lot of big spells coming from RSG. Going back to the tier 2 tower right now, that was such a cool
Radiant's
call
middle
actually.
tower is under
Tiny
attack.
wasn't showing for the tower because he's fishing for kills, and they managed to get one of the biggest one on Ember Spirit.
Top lane?
Radiant's middle tower has
Again? No! Not the goddamn Mask of Madness. He can't try and time lock away. They're going to be perfect with their chain control. As TNC on the aggressive front now.
Oh, they're falling apart right now, RSG. They're looking at a very serious problem right now, which is that they have no damage to insert into the chrono. And because Faces Void he's building into the Lincolns and Maelstrom, and next one would be the BKB, two big defensive items that is not going to give you any sort of damage in the chrono. Which is why he's so hesitant when it comes to chronoing the enemy, because he knows that there's no damage coming in. So even if he gets a 5-man chrono, it's gonna be
Radiant's
so
middle
hard for
tower
them to
has
kill
fallen.
heroes.
Yeah, you're
Right now,
right.
they need to solve this
Dire's
problem.
bottom tower has
It feels like they
fallen.
need these next two items though. Like Ember's still going Lincoln's. He wants a
Radiant's
defensive
middle
item,
barracks are
but
under
you're gonna
attack.
need another one afterwards.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
This is
Yeah, the timing is getting heavily pushed back right now because of the items that they need. And because of how they itemize so far, it feels
Radiant's
like
middle
when they're
barracks
supposed
has
to
fallen.
be strongest, and when they're supposed to overwhelm the enemy,
Radiant's
they have a
top tower
bunch of
is
defensive
under
items.
attack.
And they're trying to start the fight pre-Faceless Void. So it's no follow with the Boris Strike. And meanwhile, Young God just jumps in. Excellent brought down once again. But here's the chrono off to the side. The Age is still in the hands of the Lena for another 15 seconds. They're going to wait it out. Just want to take care of her first life and set up for the second as Xiao Yu still got the epicenter. Yolway's in trouble. A beautiful double Boris Strike clipping Young God towards the backline as RSG. They found the angle, the opportunity, and they pounce instantly as Excellent even catches another out as well. The TPing Hoodwink will not escape as RSG. Yes, it cost them a couple of buybacks, but you finally stem a little bit of the momentum.
Oh, they finally found what they needed there, which was that angle to find the Lena out of position, managed to kill her twice in a row, and all of a sudden, the team fight is looking a lot more favorable when they are able to bring down these big cores. it's very important for them to keep
Oh, bottom
trying
lane.
to...
Xiaoyu's gonna be in trouble. Box trying to set up. Oh, okay. Doesn't want to drop Doom. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, Doom in this case is not worth for you to go for solo kills anymore. You want to save it for the big team fights. And you know what? That was a team fight without Doom using the ultimate. So RSG capitalized on it very well so far. And right now, all they need to do is to reap the rewards, get as much farm as they can, try to get as much tower as they can as well, open up the map a little bit. Because we talked about how their timings are getting pushed back a little bit here. So they need a lot of base to get to their next steps of items, and if they get that, the Aghanim's or Ember Spirit, the BKB into the Nullifier from Faceless Void, maybe the team fight will be a lot more even back then. By then, if they have enough damage.
There has to still be a concern though that TNC can just rinse and repeat and go again. You know the Ember just bought back, so if you can kill Exilla, which you've already done 5 times this game, there's no reason why you couldn't do it for a 6.
That is true. Now that you have got 2 Blink Daggers, there's also Shadow Blade on Tiny as well. There's no gem so far for RSG, so they definitely could make something of here. And we talk about how MKS, he wants to farm, right? He wants to recover. So you can expect him to be in one of these side lanes. So if you're able to catch him one more time, that could just blow the game completely open for them to end the game.
And for TNC, how do they stop that? What is the closeout for them? What's kind of the next play in the playbook?
If they want to take some risk, if they're down to do so, they could maybe bait with the Faceless Void, because he does have Lincoln and BKB right now. If you're able to somehow survive the initiation, maybe you could turn, and that could be the way you completely take control of the game. Because right now you're down 10k, you still have this amazing teamfight ability to play with. You just need to think of a way for you to execute it. And if TNC is not giving it to you, maybe you need them to come to you and turn it around.
I do think we're getting to a stage though where, you know, talks of gem are something that both teams have to be considering. RSG with multiple ways to be able to initiate. You have so much reliance on your supports as well to get their abilities off, but very similar for TNC. And I think this game might just stall out a little bit because Roshan, there's a potential for it to spawn in 59 seconds. I think that's the next big thing, especially if it's a fast Rosh spawn. So we're probably going to see either side always have their eyes on bottom, because this can often be like a trigger lane to prevent the side of Radiant playing near Rosh. But I think all the vision is going to start to be focused around your Radiant's triangle and around the top river.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm already seeing Pugna queuing up a gem. He does have the money to buy it if he wants to do so. And I agree with you.
He's got the shard.
Oh yeah, he's got a shard. Alright, the shard, it increases cast range by 350, which is pretty good, but you really want it so that you can heal multiple targets, right? Most of the time it's really good against illusion based hero, but in this case, I'm really intrigued to see how effective it is.
Okay, so I'm still yet to see it, I think, in a pro game. It looks cool, but I don't know how value it really is, so I'm excited. Have you been seeing Western Europe go for the shard as well in their Medic Pugna?
Not really. It's really only against illusion based hero. And to be honest, it's quite expensive as well, because when you're playing a position 5 Pugna, 1400 gold means that you are 70% towards your 4 stuff. Or something like Eon Days, or maybe even Holy Locket if you're playing the Medic Pugna. So I think this is a huge investment. There must be something that Fabi knows about this shard.
Did you see also Scotty completed from your way? Trying to tank up, but also tanking up versus Stun Ray and percent damage along with the Spirit Siphon can be sometimes detrimental. Smoke towards Radiant Secret Shop. Roger's going to run straight into Carlo. Towards the backline though, Youngo, they're onto the Phoenix, so Xiaopabon has to drop down the Supernova along with the Chronosphere follow-up. They need a way to be able to cancel the Lina right clicks. The Bashers! What is that luck? There's no way RNG God is on their side. RSG, they dodged the bullet, and in fine fashion they do so.
Oh man, that was such a turnaround. Yo, it was like, oh guys, he didn't chrono me. I'm just gonna go in and hit him and hit the egg. And Case is like, I'm not even gonna care about the 2 men that I chrono. I'm just gonna run through you. And he got just one more lucky bash. He was just one hit away from bringing down the egg. That was such a good realization from MKS, man, to go for the Lina there. Yowie, he did the best there, but against the Bash Lord, what else? You know, what can you do, man? This is where you type WCYD in the chat, you know, what can you do?
Dude, I am astonished at how that fight broke out. Because that is literally perfect for TNC. You find Phoenix +1 in the backline, you look to blow her up, or even just forcing really bad spell usage, because Phoenix needs like a perfect ultimate, a perfect Sunray to get the cores in chrono. So you force out an early use of that, and Lina doesn't get caught in the chrono, so you're off for the side, but the recognition for MKS just to be like, who gives a damn about those targets? We have to hit the Lina. It's just the amount of bashes that MKS found, and we've got a ball game, Arthur. It's a 2,000 net worth lead, and Void's top of the net worth. And you were mentioning about this BKB nullifier potentially. Well, he's pretty close to it.
Yeah, all they have to wait for is this Roshan. Unfortunately, the luck is not on their side this time because he has used all of his luck in the previous fight for the bashes. So this is gonna be a long Roshan, and this next Roshan fight is gonna be so intense, man. Both sides. I think the gem went towards the RSG, so they definitely have the advantage over Vision right now.
Oh, they do. I think. Wait, hang on. Yeah, what?
Oh, okay. They bought
buy their own.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, they buy their own. It was Roger buying it. Right, both teams knows how important the Vision game is to them right now, and I believe we are gonna see another epic team fight here. It's really anyone's game right now. It's all
100%.
about executing team fight.
You got to get your Doom off though on Bok. We've haven't really seen it a couple times. Mid
Yo,
lane, they're on the Lina once again. They've got the chrono, this time with the Sunray forward with 3 heroes caught out. How do RSG continue to take team fights like this? Another Sunray inside the egg means that Dire will burn all to a crisp as the corpses littering the ground and RSG can now pillage the base.
Dire's middle tower
The
is
explosiveness, man, coming from RSG. It is all about who breaks first, right? And RSG, they saw that Lina is TPing
Dire's middle
in
tower
at the
has
mid
fallen.
lane river. And the moment he lands, they make a
Dire's
move on
middle
him.
tower
And TNC,
is
they
under attack.
they absolutely did not expect that at all. It seems like the other teammates are even surprised by him
Dire's middle
TPing
tower
down.
has
Because they
fallen.
were not ready for it.
Dire's
And
middle
RSG, the
barracks
entire team,
under attack.
they're just sitting there waiting for this TP
Dire's
to
middle
land.
barracks
And the moment it did, it's free team fight for them.
Dire's middle barracks. has fallen.
Full set of barracks. They've got Roche if they want to claim it as well after top. Now, I guess the one issue is they don't push crazy fast, but with no heroes to contest and all 4 hitting, they'll take it easy.
Dire's
Absolutely.
top barracks are
After
under
this, they could
attack.
easily just retrace,
Dire's
you know,
top
go back to the
shields are
Roshan as
fortified.
well. They're gonna use the Glyph to buy a little bit of time, but this is it is slow and steady here for RSG.
Dire's
Not
top
even look
barracks
to
has
finish the
fallen.
range racks, because who needs that?
Buck gets the Doom out. The Lincolns was already pop, but you don't have your damage dealing cores. Tiny and Lena are both down, so Bok's ultimate now is expended. And I was just going to mention, Arthur, I actually think TNC could take a Roche fight because Radiant still didn't have their ultimates. But now without a Doom, I don't know if you can contest this.
Feels like TNC, they are getting a little bit rushy here.
Dire's top barracks
Because
are under
there are
attack.
still two heroes reading, not responding, and then Bok is
I usually
already
like
in.
my trees
So
to myself.
the good thing is Bok is pretty close to the refresh shop, so they could maybe wait for that. There's still, you know, the double refresh shop timing that you talk about, right? And you know that is always a big one that you can rely on. It's just that now the Aegis is going to the hand of MKS most likely. Things is gonna look a little bit complicated here for TNC. Maybe a little bit is an understatement. It's gonna be very complicated. Not to mention the buybacks too, right? You always have to keep the buybacks in your mind at this kind of timing, because 38 minutes, a lot of them will be thinking about that.
Well, 25s as well. Silen went for the Remnant Charge restore time. MKS has the backtrack. He also got the shard along with the Ages, so now has the reverse time walk to play with.
The rune of haste.
Oh, TP down to the bottom side. Xiao Yu, he's looking,
scanning.
he's trying to fish as the others slowly close up to him.
There's no way. Did he just get a glimpse of Febby?
Radiant are scanning.
Gem check. Okay, Febby still has 1, so I don't know how they... Didn't they get team wiped? How they hold the gem? Less was in base when they got wiped.
Yeah, it could be. Or maybe the courier just got there first to retrieve it. Retrieve it. Yeah, just yawning it away. But I would think it's very impressive though if Fabi actually put down the gem before the team fight started. I think that's a very sick heads up play. But so far, I'm just really hoping to see the effectiveness of the shard. Because unfortunately, in the last fight, I don't think we have seen the multiple Saki happening.
This is some nice luck from either side as well. We just got the
Dyer's
leveler.
bottom tower is
Both
under
RSG and TNC have the opportunity of this. And Young God's going to claim that. And we also have it on MKS. So some pretty good luck with the neutral items. We'll see if it's able to help out TNC though.
Dyer's bottom tower has fallen.
Look at Bok waiting. Still no refresh. You need this on the Doom. So it's going to be on to Fabi to pop Lincolns.
This is still the big last step that they need to, finish off before they end the game, is that they need to go for high ground. And it's just really hard for them because they just don't have the natural sieging hero. The only one that can do that is DP, but you absolutely don't want her to be doing that. So it feels like RSG, so far the formula to their success has been taking these wonderful team fights. So I think they're probably looking to duplicate another form of that. Because sieging is really not how they utilize the strength of this team.
Okay,
of their
I
team.
have no idea how they got vision. Okay, they won't even catch up to it anyway. Somehow they got vision of Doom's courier, which they are hunting down. Okay, 5 heroes.
Scary, man. That's scary.
That's huge. So that literally could be game if he got refresher or an angle back in. I really should say.
Seems like they are looking to smoke into this top lane, surprisingly. And look at TNC's position, man. They know that this could happen. Everyone just sitting behind the throne, actually.
Oh, they're gonna see Carlo. Not the best target to jump.
Dyer's top barracks are
Jao, you looking to force reactions though. If they can get some early items out. Oh, Roger! A couple of hits from Young God, almost enough to get the kill. They'll trade it for a 1-for-1. Sealing quickly in and out, making sure there's no opportunity for Bok to land the Doom.
Dyer's
Alright,
middle tower
everyone is
is
playing
under
that
attack.
fight really safe there. I think Roger was going in as a bait, trying to poke TNC to come into the fight carelessly so that the Faceless White can come in with a big Chronosphere. Because if you look at Faceless White, he is ready for fight right now. He doesn't have the Chronosphere AoE, but Backtrack is definitely the best talent in the game for now. And MKS is building into the refresher op, so he understands that, alright, I'm gonna chrono you, you're gonna buy back, and I'm gonna drop the second Chronosphere on you.
And keep in mind, like, who do you Doom now that Void has ages? Like, what is the game plan from TNC with this defense? Okay, they're just gonna look to jump in. Who cares about the first life? MKS trying to stand his ground with the help of the Sun Rays, doing a lot of damage to Young God. That might just tick out. Oh my lord, Xiao Bonbon's able to do it all by his lonesome self. They're swooping over towards the backline without the Lena to bring down the egg. They have to stand there and watch at a safe distance as the buyback starting to rain in. But MKS, that's where it can pounce. A Chrono finding the Tiny, a dieback for Young God. And now it's all up to Yowei to turn this fight back in their favor. It's a double back. MKS, a time walk back inside to base. He wants to take the team fight. You gotta respect Yowei though. This Lena really starting to ramp up the damage. The Halberd not being able to prevent the right clicks, but Roger still standing his ground to the best of the possibilities. Yao Yu, a whiff of the Burrow Strike. 3 will drop on TNC, but Yowei still reigns supreme.
Oh my god, this fight is really at the back of the 3-4-5 of RSG. Especially the two supports, they're able to do so much. And you talk about the damage. Oh,
Another jump, they found the Lena. They found the Lena. Yowei's that last ditch attempt to hold out this game one. They need all the damage she can provide. She's got to buy back at least.
Dyer's middle tower
What?
is under
Oh,
attack.
it's just tricky now.
Dyer's
Oh,
bottom
Xiao Yu might end up dropping. Nice bushwhack landing. An instant buyback. Lena's going to rejoin the world of the living as well.
Dyer's
Countering out the life of Xiao Bonbon.
Alright guys,
Dyer's
objective
bottom
gamers.
barracks are under attack.
Just look for the objective,
Dyer's
get the
bottom
megas,
barracks has fallen.
and then regroup.
Now have
Because TNC, they are still not tapping out just yet, so they still have to play a little bit careful here. It's not over just yet for
Radiant
TNC, because
structures
everyone
are
basically used
fortified.
their buyback on RSG side. So if you're able to hang on a little bit,
Dire's
try to get
middle
some
tower
kills,
is under
maybe there's a
attack.
sign of coming back. RSG, yeah, seems like they are looking just end the
There's
game
4
right here,
heroes
right
though.
now.
MKS!
Dire's
Oh
middle
no, he
tower
blinked
has fallen.
directly into the middle. He's gonna try and get the BKB, but now with the Exo to go through, along with all the bashes they would ever need, Lena's gone, and the hopes and dreams of TNC finding an angle back into this game will join her in the grave as RSG continue with their dominant run. They'll take game 1, and Arthur, what a comeback and what a way to kick off our night.
Man, we both know that this game is gonna be hype, it's gonna be close. I just didn't think that it's gonna be such a nail biter, man. Oh, the back and forth in team fight, and this is what we all love to see, right? This, the team winning off entirely basing on team fights itself. It just brings me back to those Dota 1 days when you just go to a cafe with your team, with your friends, and then you're busting out this heavy ultimate lineup. And this was basically what RSG was aiming to do. And this is the best kind of victory that you can ask for. Just super intense. Every fight is so close as well. And it all comes down to your tenacity to pull these things off. And I believe that this is going to be such a big boost of confidence and also momentum towards the way of RSG. But, while saying that, I want to also give my respect to TNC though. They really stayed in the game as long as possible. Then a lot of times they are showing signs of life. They're able to do it. Even though they have such a big winners in their lineup, but they're still trying to make things work. And this is a really big quality that you can find from an experienced team like them, especially when they are needing all these things to maybe create a momentum for themselves to get back to the form again.
Man, the gameplay speaks for itself though. What a crazy game 1 we had. The fact that TNC they were down at 23 minutes in. It wasn't crazy, about 3,000 gold, but all of a sudden, a couple fights started to go in their favor. They got the lead. And those fights, we really saw RSG were struggling with their spell casting. Everything wasn't lining up perfectly. And it was just those two fights RSG needed. And all of a sudden, late game, it was just too difficult for TNC to get a grip off. We saw that one big fight where MKS with the lucky bashes on the Lina, the 3-man chrono directly in the river mid. And then from there, RSG, they completely took over. They just had so much team fight. Ja Bomb Bomb, what a man. This guy had the second most damage dealt. The second most damage dealt in this game. And this is what a Phoenix can do.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's one of the best solutions towards the Doom. And Xiaobon, he played it absolutely perfectly. So game 1, deservingly going towards RSG. And for game 2, I feel like TNC, Fabi, you gotta come into the team and do some strong pep talk, because it's a pretty tough loss to swallow in my opinion, but they do play it well though. So they shouldn't be feeling too bad about this, I feel.
RSG continuing with their flawless run so far. They are yet to drop a map, but we still have a best of 3 to set ourselves up here. Can TNC try and push us to a game 3, or are RSG going to win their 5th series? We'll find out after the break.